All right, hi everybody. So we're gonna be making a piece of cake. So I'm hoping we're gonna do this in a one go through. We'll see. So you can either buy this craft foam. It is a 7.5 inch triangle, and it is 1.9 inches, 5.4, 7.3. I will have included a cake slice template for you. It's literally this. I wanted to make it 2 inches, so this is my 2-inch cake slice thing. There's my template. So I really want to put hooks in my cakes, right? But to do that, I need to poke a hole. And to poke a hole, I need to poke a hole, right? So I don't know if this is going to happen or not. I want to try something different. So we're going to go with this one. You can buy this one. I'll leave it in the links. I left this. I got this whole sheet. Now I'm doing a lot of projects with this. And you look, I'll show you. Sorry. I'm going to stack them. And you can make those ones like Glitterville does. And you can make a really big cake. I'm just making a bunch of things. Anyway, so I will have included my template for my wrap. I am going to be wrapping it from the bottom to the middle, from the top to the middle with felt. I am going to be using some, where did I put it? Some foam clay. This is light pink. For the brains, you can always use white and paint it. You can use yarn as well. I'm just gonna, oh, these are the wrong scissors. Those are my paper scissors and my clay scissors. So you're gonna take this, so you'll get these two patterns in the bundle. This is a Halloween cake. You can iron it, you can do whatever. So you're going to need some felt glue. We're going to use actually, you're going to use foam and felt, sorry. My bad. Foam and felt glue from Aleene's. Get it from Hobby Lobby, or I think Joann carries it. Michael's carries it as well. You're going to take your foam and felt. You're going to place it down. This is super easy because I've already done one before, so I know this is going to work. Now, let's talk slightly about this stuff. This is good. This I would invest in. This is the Loctite Spray Adhesive High Performance. It works on wood, metal, acrylic, foam, fabric, polypropylene, and PVC, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is safe to use on this, not safe to spray. I'm just saying, I like to live on the edge. So I'm just going to use it a little bit to hold it down while I glue. You can just eyeball it. You want it to come up because you're going to, let me see if I can turn the autofocus off. Stop. Well, it's like a new used computer, but we're going to fold it up like this, and then we're going to make a like a cream filling kind of a thing. So here we go. You can use hot glue as well. I'm just going to use this just to give it some extra. Low temperature hot glue will work just fine as well. So I'll do, I'm sorry, we're going to do low temperature hot glue. And it's almost dinner time, so it's really hot. So you want to make sure you don't burn your foam. So you're just going to kind of fold it up. You can pin it if you like. It's really not necessary. Here's the one I'm working on. I haven't decided what I want to do with the top, but I thought it looked cool. So this you're going to have to kind of finagle. Cutting it like that. I would recommend putting your glue on your felt because then it can cool down a little before you fold it up. And then you're going to kind of shorten this and bring your center up. And then we'll just trim all the excess off. See how cool that looks? It's going to look fine. It's going to look really fine. You alright, Shug? And then you're just going to fold this up. And then you're going to just cut these corners off because you don't need them. Just cut them off. I forgot to tell you this is olive felt from Joann Fabrics, which is currently out of stock. I don't know why. All the felts are out of stock right now. Like a lot of them are. They probably have a manufacturing issue. That's usually what happens. So then we're gonna do the same thing for the top that we did the bottom. This one you can kind of trim it to make sure it fits. It's totally up to you. I'm going to cover it. So I'm just going to try and get it as good as I can. All right, so we're just finishing up.
That might be pants, yeah.
I mean, maybe.
So when he texted me, I didn't want to get talking to him because we were watching that, and then
So there's a lot of different tutorials online that are free on how to make felt icing and things like that. I might eventually look into it, but for today's purpose, I'm just going to use trim. And I apologize in advance because I know the trim that I'm going to use is, they don't carry it anymore. Why? No idea.
No, I'm not giving this to you. Stop. Act like you're other than that. Nobody feeds you, huh? Well, you're not getting this.
So we're going with the zombie theme. I'm going to go with Rick Rack, but I wanted to show you another option that I found in my stash would be this like velvety one, which would look really pretty, especially if you had like that gray velvet ribbon that was out last year or whatever. Sorry. And you would just put it on and it would be your, like that. It would look really pretty. I'm just going to go with Rick Rack. I think it's a little bit wider. I don't know. I feel like now I want to use this gray. I have a really pretty gray ribbon. I'm going to use that one. We're going to go bougie. I have these to kind of show. I wanted to do one, like a candy corn one. These are old. These are from AC Moore when AC Moore was around. So you got these. Craft orders for everyone. So if you were going to make it more of like a pie, you could put the back up and kind of ruffle it over, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm literally going to have this whole top be brains because I think it's going to be really cool. You could leave this jagged. You could use, what's that stuff? The, I'm trying to think of the word. That leather, the leather stuff they use, like the faux leather sheets. You could cut that up and make it like a dripping icing. You could do all sorts of things. I'm still using my low heat temp glue gun so I don't burn myself. I love this velvet. I think there's a lot of velvets coming out. I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure, but like, ask your ribbon dealers. I know last year I did see some really nice grays. So it doesn't really matter what side, top or bottom you use. They're exactly the same if you did it the way that I did. So this is discontinued at Hobby Lobby. So I apologize, you're not going to be able to get it. I have not been there in a while to even remotely see if they have it. But you're just going to measure around if you want to and use this one as the decorative slice on the top. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do since I already did that before. I like this color. It's like an off-white ivory color. And then I'm going to do my brains all inside, and then I'll do some detailing on the back. Hopefully. I have two. I'm going to use, I think I'm only going to be able to get one. I wanted to get two, but I think it'll look weird, so hold on. So I'm just using Bose clay. I get it in the, what is this, 3-pound tub because I use white a lot. So I just take a little bit. I have a lot of different types of white, but you're just going to kind of soften it up. So I have these foam balls from the Dollar Tree, and I cut them in half with my knife, just a regular X-Acto knife. I'm going to take a little bit, make a bowl, and then the one guy looks like Al Pacino, but I know it's not him. And then you're just going to take it and kind of press it. And cut your excess. The styrofoam, if you get it on your excess, you might as well just throw it out because you'll never get the little bits. So you're just going to kind of fold it over a little bit. And they're thick. And then you're left with this when it dries. My little styrofoam's inside, which is fine. You can use water on your hands. I'm going to leave them slightly textured because I'm okay with that. So we'll just put that one aside. I've already pre-painted one, so let's go. I used a 1-inch circle. I put that down. So you would just put it wherever you want your eyeball to be looking. I used Anita's white, or this is baby blue. You don't need a lot. So you're just going to take it. You can use whatever color. I just know that my zombie girl has blue eyes. And then the boy's shirt is blue. So if you accent your other colors, it would be cool. I think if I used like orange or green would definitely get lost. So there you have that. And then you're going to do a 1/2-inch circle. Sorry about that. All right. So next we're going to put our eyeballs aside to dry. Now you want to make sure very clean, dry surface for this next part. Put our little You're gonna make a tube. Nice thin tube. You can use yarn. Some really nice thin yarn, pink at Walmart and stuff. And you're just gonna roll it out real thin, real long. Probably way too much.
It probably didn't cost about $500,000.
So this part of the brain will match the brain on their on the boy and the girl's head. I think it's going to be really cool. So you're just going to take your, I don't know, I just like it when it starts out like that. And we're going to loop it and loop it. Ready? So this is going to dry on here. So you can either cut a piece of parchment paper, put a little piece down. Let's do, I don't really need to do it, but let's, that way we can take it off, glitter it. There we go. And then I'm just going to put a pin in it just to hold it in place. All right, here we go. And I'm going to put my eyeball.
Yeah.
And then there's our brain for this. So we can make some icing dollops. This is just gray. What'll be good about this is so when this dries, it'll shrink a little bit, and then we'll be able to like plop these right up top. Unless we do it now, which we might. I gotta find a styrofoam piece. Let me find. Oh, I have some good sized balls over there. So I wouldn't use the other styrofoam balls because it's gonna stick. This, it's probably not gonna stick. So let's just see what happens. I'm gonna make an impression right here, pull it up. So I'm going to end up putting that dollop right there. And then I'll put one right here. So we'll just,
But they had sucked everything off. You know, like they did really well. So it's just a matter now of
there's a little dollop, and then we'll just put it right there.
figure out where everything's going to go back down. Like you said, make sure it's down there organized and not that, you know, run it all over.
And if you feel you don't like it, take it off and start over before you put this down. Once you put this down, you've committed.
It is what it is.
So I'm just going to go,
Yeah. And then, you know, in the meantime, pond barrel glue, so that was another thing. So the pond drained, and so we shut that down, put more water in it, and they replaced the big barrel with the filtration system. So they had to really have that, you know. And then we still have Vietnam outside, so we're, you know.
so you're just going to kind of
Every day that I'm on,
make little,
take these at work. So, yeah, so there ain't much gonna get done with, you know, that back
so
there.
this one will go here.
We'll figure it out. But that should happen.
And it's like a little dollop icing.
They said that, well, yeah, feel, well, I don't want to replace that with it. Even though they don't use it, I don't want to torch it either. So, but, so, we're trying to figure out how to play this whole thing out on Wednesday.
Love it.
The following week. Because
So there you have,
we might have
and then
to
you
figure
could
out, have you guys
stick your eyeball in your clay.
Because everybody can have where we go.
So you can just put it on top or squish it down in. Let's do another squish 'em.
So, I mean, like I said, when I think we're all gonna go, you know what I mean? We're not gonna stay back.
Yeah.
So everybody and their mother is gonna be there. So.
And I'm just gluing it in with some regular glue because I want that like to come up and over. I'm going to let this dry. We're going to glitter the tops of this with some gray. Okay, so we're going to glitter the eyeball or the things, and then we can glitter the eyeball if you want to. That's totally up to you. I want to glitter this as well. I'm going to use this red Createology from Michaels. I don't know. Oh, okay. Maybe not. That's not the type of cap I want. All right, let's do. Try and be mindful of those that might be sensitive to sound. So I just have some Aleene's tacky glue. I buy it by the gallon. I have some smaller containers, but and I'm just going to use one of these brushes. These are the brushes that I use for glue. You want to be pretty heavy-handed with this. You don't want to go light. I found that if you go light, it doesn't hold the glitter. So if you want it to really hold your glitter, then put it on pretty thick. It dries anyway, so you don't have anything to worry about. I'm going to try and avoid my eyeball. So I have another idea. So I went and grabbed this one. This is from Joann Fabrics. I think Michaels might have, oops, I keep forgetting. Oh. I didn't realize it was dark. Pink Iris Party Blend Glitter. And then the one I usually use is this Champagne or Cameo Pink from Walmart. Or you can grab this one, Party Blend pink icing from Hobby Lobby. So we're going to just ooh, it looks good. A little bit more glue right there. Just so it can stick. All right, perfect. Yay! And then I will just take all of this glitter and pour it back in. And then I keep the lid so that way it doesn't come open, because that's annoying. All right, so let's do the swirl. So I have this matte red. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to kind of just drizzle it around. We're going to see how that'll go. I need to be up higher. Hold on. Yeah, that's better. Not perfect at all. That's a lot of time. Okay, I like it. It's good. This cup, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna put a little bit on my paper here, and then I'm gonna go in. Hopefully, this will be good for the detailing part. Get your brush a little wet. Take it. Load up your brush. Take some off. And then go in and do the white. This isn't usually the brush I like to use, but I don't know where that one is. I don't like these bristles. There. They have to be all the same size. And this is a Artist Loft Specialty Level 2. Get it from, you take the end of your skewer here, give it a little whimsical, dip the other end of your skewer into the white, and do another one. I like it. So there's the top piece of our pie, cake, whatever you want. I sent it to Alicia and she said, it looks like pie. Fine. Pie, cake, whatever you want it to be. So we're going to let it dry and then we'll glue it up because you need to press it. So we'll be back. All right, before I move on, I wanted to just show you some of the things that I pick up during the year now that I do this stuff full time. Not full time, but like, you know, I get these things from wherever I can. So when they're on sale, so like right now, like all the summer stuff and weird things are out at like Joann's and Michael's and things like that. So I'll just pick them up. I think I got this at Walmart. So this would be cute to do the coffin set that I just put out, to do like little candies in there. That would be cool. I have an eyeball set with bones. These work great. I prefer to use the molds with Model Magic. It's totally your preference. The foam clay dries a little too, it shrinks a little too much for my liking. So this is brains. You could use this instead of, you know, all of these. You could put them in and then put the little detailing around if you wanted to. I picked up pumpkins. You know, they come as ice cube trays. You can use them for clay molds, things like that. I also have a little cookie cutter set that I got on clearance, and it has a RIP tombstone. So I want to do a tombstone and then another little thing. So we're going to make that together. I think I have... I wanted to do popsicle sticks. Let's do... I want to do a little keep out sign and a tombstone. So my tombstone, I want to put a toothpick in the bottom. That way it can stick into my cake. So let's do these little skewers. Use whatever you got. And then I'm going to show you how to make a sign with like leftover foam board. And sorry. I just thought of this because I feel like my cake thing is lacking. Okay, sorry about that. So let's prep our signs and stuff. I'm going to just put this here so we can have it. So you're just going to take your paper. How did I put that stuff? Here it is. You're just going to make a sign, right? So it doesn't matter. This is not sharp. This is for clay. This is my dot cutter. So just want to make a little sign that says keep out. So it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. These are just scrap. So you're going to take the paper off. Why are you taking the paper off? Because I'm going to glue two pieces together, and I don't want that paper to, you know, if it gets wet or whatever, to come off. So this is just basically foam covered in paper. So you just take that off. And then let's do just like sign like this. A little hot glue, not a lot, and then just layer it. Taking my cutters, just cutting a little bit off. Gonna need it to have a point to go into the cake. So we're just gonna shove it in here because I forgot to do that. So I want it to have like, you know, like a sign part, and then this part will go into the cake. So we'll just glue that up. Because I thought about ordering stuff on Amazon. I was like, oh, I'm going to order little like picks and things like that. But the whole point is to really use what you got. And this is just stuff I got lying around. So there's our little sign. Paint it whatever colors you want. I'm going to do a green and black. Let's grab our colors. I'm going to use the same colors that I used for my zombies. So I'm done with the cutter. This is why it's hard not to be a hoarder when you craft. So these are the three colors I'm going to use. These are the same colors that I used on my zombies. So I have English Green Ivy, Antique Nickel from Anita's, and Folk Art Raw Umber. So we're going to just... I'm going to start with the raw umber and do the edges. And then we'll seal everything all together. So hopefully it doesn't... Let's see if I can zoom in. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to paint this stick the same raw umber color. So let's see if I can zoom in. That's good. So just a little bit on the edges. I took my water away, of course. So we're just gonna do with what we have. So we're gonna do a little bit green using the same brush. You want it to have that like mossy, you know. Throw some gray in there. You can hit it with a hairdryer. Keep going. I like it. And then you do the back. All right. Let that dry. Alright, so I have my sign. I'm going to paint the back. So then I can walk away for a second. Or paint the stick part. You don't have to go all the way down, because that part's going to go into the cake. Alright. I'm going to rinse my brush off with the air back. So we're going to do keep out. It's not totally dry, but that's okay. And then I'm going to go in with, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So it says keep out. So these would be perfect to use, these Sharpie paint pens. Mine's all dried out. It's several years old, but this would be perfect. So I'm just going to use this really old Scribbles thing that still has life to it. Let's hope. And I'm using a smaller one so I can hopefully keep it contained. Oops, sorry. Um, so then once this is dry, I can stick it in the top of my cake or pie or whatever you're going to call it. Oh, the lilies are opening. That's beautiful. All right, so let's do a clay tombstone. You can do the same thing with your oh god, I'm losing it. Let's just do it with this so I don't have to mess with the drying of the clay. We'll put that aside to dry. Where am I at? I'm here. I'm here. Yeah. That's a pretty big table. So you can trace it, you can make your own. You can use it as clay. You can just freehand it as well. You're going to do 2 cuts of this as well. I'm just going to do RIP on it. I'm going to do 2 again. So that way I can sandwich a thing in there. Good thing about this is you can crackle it up. You can, like, you know, fold it and crackle the poster board so that way it's already crackled and then some of the paint will seep in to the crackled part. I need a tabletop wastebasket. Find one in my stash. So just crackle it. You can crease it with your things, whatever you want to do. And you have your own cupcake picks. going to add a little black because I know the gray is going to be light. I need a lot. And this one I'm not going to worry about painting the stick because I'm going to push it all the way through my project because I don't want any of the stick to stick out, or the little dowel thing. And then do the sides in black. Yeah. So now it has that like aged look to it. So we're going to do this side with the, I trust myself to do just an RIP. Let's hope. Okay, so we'll let all these dry and then we'll come back to assemble.